I am so excited to welcome you to this afternoon session on TSA programs, and it's being presented by Christy from the Indianapolis International Airport today. She is currently a I can't talk apparently, transportation security officer with the Transportation Security Administration at the Indianapolis International Airport. She's been with TSA for almost 13 years and has done just about everything that the Transportation Security Administration has to offer. She believes in the mission of TSA and is very proud to be a part of such an amazing organization. And I am so excited to have her with us today. So please help me welcome Christy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am a supervisor currently, but I'm also very proud to be a passenger support specialist. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, the different programs that TSA has to offer to help things go smooth and calm when you're getting screened at our checkpoints. The TSA mission is to protect the nation's transportation systems to ensure freedom of movement for people and commerce. We operate security screening activities at over 450 federalized airports across the country, including Guam, Hawaii, Alaska, Samoa, Puerto Rico, Northern Mariana Islands, and the Virgin Islands. And there is a difference between federalized airports and also regular airports. We are made by the federal government, and there are contractors. Some airports are done by contractors, so they might have a little bit of different procedures other than federalized TSA airports. We do have nearly 50,000 TSA officers, and there are over 2 million travelers and their belongings are screened each day. We screen for weapons, explosives, and other hazardous items. All TSA personnel receive training with emphasis on treating passengers with dignity, respect, and sensitivity. To be a member, for example, I am a passenger support specialist, and I had to do extra training and on-the-job training to be able to say that I'm a passenger support specialist. Screening conducted depends on the passenger's disability or medical condition and the technology in use at the checkpoint, plus the needs communicated by the passenger. The most important thing to remember is to communicate. If we as officers don't know what you're going through, then we won't know the best course of action. TSA adjusts processes and procedures to meet the evolving threat and to achieve the highest levels of transportation security. As a result, travelers may notice changes in TSA screening procedures from time to time. Some of the TSA programs that are available to travelers: TSA Cares, TSA Disability Notification Card, which you can download from the internet, TSA PreCheck, which is you can start applying online, and then they do a background check, a security screening, different types of security screening. We want you to prepare for TSA security screening, and you can do that by calling TSA Cares. What to Expect publication, and the TSA Disability Coalition. Just a little bit of information about TSA Cares, which is the most amazing program that TSA has to offer. It's a helpline that provides travelers with disabilities and medical conditions assistance during the security screening process. One thing to remember when you're calling TSA Cares is to make sure you call 72 hours in advance to give ample time to arrange assistance. Airports have different resources. Level of assistance you receive at the checkpoint will vary. So when you call that number, it is put into a database, and then the local airports are notified what you need to help smooth out the screening process. Here is the contact information. The toll-free number is 1-855-787-2227. And then there is the email, which will be more later in the presentation. The hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and also 9 to 8 on weekends and holidays. And that is just the call center. If, for example, you forget to call or you're running behind, most airports do have a PSS available, and we are all willing to help the process run smoothly. You will be providing your itinerary, which will be forwarded to the additional airports. And you can learn more about this most amazing program at tsa.gov. And here is what a video that describes what I would do as a passenger support specialist.
A passenger support specialist for TSA is a transportation security officer that is trained specially to help passengers with disabilities, cultural differences, anything that needs assisting through the screening process. Passenger support specialist is requested sometimes for many reasons. Sometimes flying with a child by yourself, sometimes just the ability to have that security with somebody walking you through. Just the fear of flying can sometimes require a passenger to request the extra support. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. A typical day for a passenger support specialist is I start in with a morning briefing. I usually check my emails for the day and see if I have a request for a passenger support specialist. And if I do, in most cases, I contact that passenger, let them know where the meeting point is, make arrangements to meet them, sometimes helping them with their bags. I usually engage with them to try to fill out what they need, what their requirements are. Sometimes people just need me to walk along with them.
The program is extremely important because when people have a need, that needs to be a person that's going to supply that need, that really cares about what that need is. It doesn't matter. You just say what you need, and that's what we're here for. It is important for the passenger to have a personal relationship with the passenger support specialist because, first of all, there's trust. They also know that we care about them, that we're going to do things and treat them with dignity and respect.
I am a 9/11 survivor. I was in the Pentagon on 9/11, so I know the importance of security screening. A little help that we do by screening passengers every day makes a difference. It makes a difference.
What I would say to the traveling public is, please, if you need some help, no matter what it is, go ahead and talk to TSA Cares and ask for a passenger support specialist because we're here and everyone that's on that list really cares about not only doing something, but helping you. So it's not a job to us. It is something that we love. It's a passion.
How are you this morning? I love meeting new people every day. Working in the airport requires that I do interact with travelers on a daily basis, and it just brings me joy to see people make it through safe, know that they're gonna be safe when they get on the plane, and know that I made a difference. I'm Deborah Owens, a passenger support specialist here at the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
And here's just a little bit more information of the phone number again. I just love this video. It explains exactly what we do. And she is one of the original passenger support specialists since the inception of the program. The TSA disability notification card, which is downloadable from the internet on tsa.gov. The TSA's disability notification card is a basic nonverbal way to communicate to TSA officers about the disability, medical condition, or assistive devices. The TSA disability notification card does not exempt you from screening, but provides a nonverbal way to communicate with TSA officers. Travelers can access the notification card on the Disabilities and Medical Conditions page of tsa.gov at the website located below. And here is an example of the TSA disability notification card. You would print this out and you would bring this to the airport. And whenever an officer is starting to screen, you would give them this card, and we as officers would go above and beyond trying to get you screened smoothly. TSA PreCheck is another program we have available. TSA PreCheck is an expedited screening program and generally has shorter lines and wait times. TSA travelers with TSA PreCheck do not need to remove their shoes or 311 liquids, belts, laptops, or light outerwear at participating airports. TSA officers may swab your hands, mobility aid, equipment, and other external medical devices to test for explosives. Footwear may undergo additional screening, but not required to remove. You can request to be seated at any time during the screening. Now, we do have to clear the shoes if they keep alarming. So, but we will make it as calm and easy as possible. You may begin the application process for TSA PreCheck online and schedule an appointment at the enrollment center nearest you, which we do have one here at the Indianapolis International Airport. They are open most days between 8 and 4:30, but you can start online. The TSA PreCheck applicants will undergo a background check of about 10 years. If approved, pay an $85 non-refundable application fee, which is valid for 5 years. So you would have to do nothing until 5 years later when it expires. If you want more information on PreCheck and to learn about the enrollment centers, please visit tsa.gov, which you can also start your application online at that same website. Now, some of the things that we as screeners do, we screen travelers with service animals. We have a Wounded Warriors program, children with disabilities and medical conditions, mobility aids and devices, travelers with prosthetics, casts, brace, and support appliances, travelers with mobility aids and devices, and travelers with medically necessary liquids. We have different screening procedures for each of those items. If you are traveling with a service animal, and just for example, we across the country, we have had several different types of service animals. We have dogs. We've also had monkeys. There's cats. It has been, service animals have really taken off and are very fun. If you are traveling with a service animal, inform the TSA officer that you are traveling with a service animal. You may provide the officer with the TSA notification card or medical documentation to describe your condition. You and your service animal will be screened by a walk-through metal detector. You may walk through together, or you may lead the animal through separately on a leash. You will undergo a pat down if you are not screened by the walk-through metal detector. If the metal detector alarms, you and your service animal will undergo additional screening, including a pat down. If the service dog alarms, do not make contact with the dog other than holding the leash until the dog has been inspected by an officer. TSA will not separate you from your service animal. If you have concerns about about your screening, you can ask to speak with the supervisor at any point during the process. Service dog collars, harnesses, leashes, backpacks, vests, and other items are subject to screening. Items that are necessary to maintain control of the service dog or indicate that the service dog is on duty do not require removal to be screened. If you need to relieve your service dog and must exit the checkpoint, you and the service dog will need to go through screening process again. Fortunately, here at Indianapolis International Airport, we have animal relief areas on both checkpoints, which are A checkpoint and B checkpoint. You may request to remove to the front of the line upon your return if you do exit screening. Medication for service animals must go through X-ray or inspection screening. Separate medications and inform the TSA officer that you carry these items for your service dog. And here is a video to explain just a little bit more.
TSA Cares.
Traveling through airport security with a service dog? For your comfort and awareness, here's what you can expect next time you go through security.
In an airport, TSA employees engage with people who are blind and their service dogs.
For those needing screening accommodations, contact the TSA Cares helpline at 1-855-787-2227, 72 hours before your scheduled flight. The program will provide you with a TSA passenger support specialist or a supervisory transportation security officer who can provide on-the-spot assistance at the checkpoint.
A TSA employee greets a woman standing in the airport check-in area with her service dog on a harness. He offers his elbow for assistance.
On the day of travel, arrive early to allow time for security screening.
A couple and their dog are assisted through the security checkpoint.
You'll be asked to remove shoes, electronic devices larger than a cell phone, and liquids under 3.4 ounces. Place them into a bin for screening.
A woman with a service dog puts her shoes and a laptop in a bin.
If you're unable to remove your shoes, then you'll go through additional screening, which include a visual and physical inspection.
Inside the security screening area, a female TSA employee scans a woman's sandals with a wand as the woman sits in a chair. Her service dog watches.
You and your service dog may be screened by explosive trace detection and a walk-through metal detector in the following ways. You may go through the technology first, followed by your service dog. Your service dog may go through first, followed by you. Or you may go through screening together.
The blind travelers walk through the metal detector, a freestanding metal arch. They are assisted by TSA agents taking their hand from the other side of the scanner and guiding them through. Their service dog follows. One woman walks through with her dog by her side.
If you cannot or choose not to go through a walk-through metal detector, you'll undergo a pat-down.
A male TSA employee wearing blue gloves runs his hands down the shoulders and back of a man whose service dog lies next to him.
A pat-down may also be needed to resolve an alarm or as part of additional security measures.
A female TSA employee wearing blue gloves demonstrates to a woman how to hold her arms out to her sides, then proceeds to run her hands along the top and bottom of the woman's extended arms.
A TSA officer will first ask for your permission before touching your service dog. At no point during the screening process will you be separated from your service dog or be required to remove the service dog's harness or vest.
A female TSA employee runs her gloved hands along the leather harness worn by a woman's service dog.
For your comfort and discretion, know that at any time during the screening process, you may request to speak with a supervisor or request private screening. Have additional questions about screening policies, procedures, and what to expect at a checkpoint? Contact the TSA Cares helpline prior to your next flight.
TSA Cares. Are you concerned about traveling with a disability or medical condition? Toll-free 1-855-787-2227. Federal Relay 711. Transportation Security Administration.
Or send a tweet or direct message on Facebook to Ask TSA. For more information on travel and to print out your own notification card, visit tsa.gov.
A web search for notification card brings up TSA notification card, individuals with disabilities and medical conditions. The TSA employee walks the woman with the service dog across the airport terminal. He pulls her rolling luggage in one hand.
This demonstration provides an overview of what you can expect at the checkpoint and does not reflect the screening process in real time.
Transportation Security Administration.
One very important part of being a passenger support specialist, if you noticed in the video that there were times that the passengers were separated. You saw a huge line in back of other passengers. We are able, as passenger support specialists, to find the best course of action to make sure that screening is as smooth as possible. So we are able to open and close lanes to accommodate families that call the TSA CARES hotline. One of the things that passengers are worried about is taking time because of medications, because of mobility devices. We are here to help relieve that worry. And we can take a separate lane and we can take as much time as we need to get everyone screened and get to their vacations as soon as possible.
TSA Cares.
Here's some information about children with disabilities, medical conditions, or mobility aids. All travelers are required to undergo screening. However, TSA has developed screening procedures for passengers 12 years of age and younger. TSA officers will consult parents for the traveling or the traveling guardian about the best way to relieve any concerns during the screening of a child. Children can be screened without being separated from their parents or guardian. Children able to walk through the metal detector without assistance may do so separately from their parent or guardian. If they alarm, children are allowed multiple passes through screening technologies and may undergo other procedures to resolve the alarm to reduce the need for a pat-down. Infants and small children may be carried through the metal detector. Should the alarm sound, additional screening is required. If your child is able to remain standing in the required position for 5 seconds, he or she may be screened through advanced imaging technology. If a child 12 and under goes through the machine and alarms, they have an opportunity to go through again, or the TSA officer may use other procedures to resolve the alarm to reduce the need for a pat-down. You will place all carry-on baggage, such as children's toys, bags, and blankets, on the X-ray belt for screening. Strollers, umbrella strollers, baby carriers, car and booster seats, and backpacks must be screened by X-ray. Equipment that does not fit through the X-ray machine will undergo a visual physical inspection by TSA officers. For children 13 and older, TSA's standard screening procedures apply. Accessible property of all travelers, regardless of age, must be screened. If there is an alarm, the individual will undergo additional screening. Another excellent part of the passenger support specialist, we will contact you a day to 2 days prior to you flying out, and we will ask questions so we can find the best way and course of action. So all this information will already be known, so we know what type of screening that we have available to the family. Travelers with prosthetics, casts, support brace, sling, or support appliances. Inform the TSA officer if you have a prosthetic, a cast, brace, or support appliance and require assistance with the screening process. You may provide the officer with the TSA notification card, which you can download from the internet on tsa.gov, or other medical documentation to describe your condition. However, documentation is not required. Passengers with prosthetics, casts, braces, or support appliances can be screened using advanced imaging technology, metal detector, or a pat-down. The cast, brace, or support appliance is subject to additional screening, which may require you to remove it for X-ray screening. For example, if we cannot clear an alarm on the support brace, cast, or support appliance, you will not be required to remove your prosthetic. However, they are subject to additional screening, which may require you to lift, raise, or lower your clothing. Private screening will always be provided, and you will be asked if you want private screening prior. You may voluntarily remove your prosthetic, cast, brace, or support appliance prior to screening and submit it for X-ray screening. If you are traveling with mobility aids and devices, inform the TSA officer of your ability to walk or stand independently before screening. You may provide the officer with the disability card or other medical documentation. If you are able to stand with your arms above your head 5 to 7 seconds without support, you may undergo screening through the advanced imaging technology, which is our main form of screening at Indianapolis International Airport, or the walk-through metal detector, if you are able to walk through without support. Walkers, crutches, canes, and other mobility aids and devices must undergo screening. We do have canes available at both of our checkpoints here at Indianapolis International Airport to help walk through our screening devices. A TSA officer will inspect them if it cannot fit through the X-ray. Notify the TSA officer if you need to be immediately reunited with the device after it is screened by X-ray. TSA officers will screen wheelchairs and scooters to include the seat cushions and any non-removable pouches or fanny packs. Items will be tested for traces of explosives, and removable items will undergo X-ray screening. On the pouches and fanny packs that are not being able to be removed on the device, we as officers will remove the items inside those and have them go through the X-ray. If you can neither stand nor walk, you will undergo a pat-down screening while seated. If you can stand but cannot walk, you may stand near the wheelchair or scooter and undergo a pat-down screening. A pat-down procedure also is used if you alarm the metal detector or advanced imaging technology. Now, this is what you can expect when you're traveling with a mobility aid.
Traveling through airport security in a wheelchair or using a mobility device? Here's what to expect the next time you fly. For assistance during screening, contact the TSA Cares Helpline 72 hours before your scheduled flight. A TSA employee will be on hand to provide on-the-spot assistance at the checkpoint. On the day of travel, make sure to arrive early to allow enough time for security screening. If you're able to stand with your arms above your head and are able to walk through without support, then you may undergo screening through advanced imaging technology or a walk-through metal detector. If you cannot or choose not to be screened by advanced imaging technology or a walk-through metal detector, or if you're unable to stand or walk on your own, then you'll undergo a pat-down. A pat-down may also occur if you alarm during screening. If you're unable to remove your shoes, then your shoes will have to undergo additional screening. wheelchairs and scooters will be screened to include the seat cushions and any non-removable pouches. Any removable items will need to undergo X-ray screening. Medications in liquid or solid form and paste or creams in excess of 3.4 ounces are allowed in your carry-on bag and are exempt from our TSA liquids rule. Walkers, crutches, canes, or other mobility aids and devices must also undergo X-ray screening. For your comfort and discretion, know that at any time during the screening process, you may request to speak with a supervisor or request private screening. Have additional questions about screening policies, procedures, and what to expect at a checkpoint? Contact the TSA Cares Helpline prior to your next flight, or send a tweet or direct message on Facebook to Ask TSA. For more information on travel and to print out your own notification card, visit tsa.gov.
Travelers with medically necessary liquids. This is what you will do. You may bring medically necessary liquids, medications, and creams in excess of 3.4 ounces, which is what we allow as TSA, or 100 milliliters in your carry-on bag. Make sure you remove them from your carry-on bag to be screened separately from the rest of your belongings. You are not required to place your liquid medication in a plastic zip top bag. If a liquid, gel, or aerosol declared as medically necessary alarms, then it may require additional screening and may not be allowed. Ice packs, freezer packs, gel packs, and other accessory may be presented at the screening checkpoint in a frozen or partially frozen state to keep medically necessary items cool. All items, including supplies associated with medically necessary liquids, such as IV bags, pumps, and syringes, must be screened before they will be permitted into the secure area of the airport. For example, on the freezer packs or gel packs, one of the concerns that families have is if they're traveling and they're staying in a hotel, how will they make the ice packs frozen prior to flying back home? What we do as supervisors and TSA officers, we just do extra screening, and we make sure that everything passes and does not alarm, and then you are able to take those if they're not 100% frozen or even partially frozen, because they are being used for a medically necessary reason. You just, the families will just tell that to the supervisor that these are medically necessary. And then we would just do extra steps to make sure that everything is smooth during your screening. TSA officers may test liquids, gels, or aerosols for explosives or concealed prohibited items. If officers are unable to use X-ray to clear these items, they may ask to open the container and transfer the content to a separate empty container or dispose a small quantity of the content if feasible. But we are here to help. Inform the TSA officer if you do not want your liquid medication to be screened by X-ray or open. Additional steps will be taken to clear the liquid, and you will undergo additional screening procedures to include a pat-down and screening of other carry-on property. And here's a video about traveling with medication.
Traveling through the checkpoint with medications or a medical device? Here's what you need to know to get to your destination with all you need. Medications in liquid or solid form and paste or creams in excess of 3.4 ounces are allowed in your carry-on bag and are exempt from our 311 liquid rule. This also goes for medical accessories such as freezer packs, IV bags, pumps, and syringes. To ease the screening process, make sure they are clearly labeled. On the day of travel, ensure you arrive early to allow time for security screening. Inform the officer of your condition or show your disability notification card at the checkpoint before your screening begins. Let the TSA officer know if you do not want or cannot have your liquid medication screened by X-ray. Other steps will be taken to screen the liquid. You'll be screened by advanced imaging technology or a walk-through metal detector. If you cannot or choose not to go through this screening technology, you will undergo a pat-down. A pat-down may also be needed to resolve an alarm or as part of additional security measures. Prostheses and mastectomy bras are considered medically necessary and may be worn during screening. We will not ask you to reveal or remove these items. If you're traveling with a medical device that is attached to your body, you will need to be sure to inform the TSA officer prior to the start of your pat-down. If you can safely disconnect from your medical device, and if the device manufacturer allows it, the device can be screened via X-ray. If you cannot disconnect from the device, it may require additional screening. For your comfort and discretion, know that at any time during the screening process, you may request to speak with the supervisor or request private screening. Have additional questions about screening policies, procedures, and what to expect at a checkpoint? Contact the TSA Cares helpline prior to your next flight, or send a tweet or a direct message on Facebook to Ask TSA. For more information on travel and to print out your own TSA notification card, visit tsa.gov.
Here are some tips to help you prepare for going through TSA screening. Call TSA Cares 72 hours in advance if you need assistance at the checkpoint. Arrive early, at least 2 hours early for domestic and 3 hours early for international flights, to allow plenty of time to get through security screening. Communicate your specific needs to the TSA officer before screening begins. And I can't stress that enough. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Travelers may download the TSA's disability notification card, which allows travelers to notify the TSA officer of a disability, medical condition, or request any accommodation. Remember, the card does not exempt a traveler from screening, but it does help us as officers to know the best course of action. To better prepare for travel, visit the security screening page on tsa.gov or at the website listed below. If you have for more information on TSA's pat-down screening process by technology and checked baggage screening. You may also ask any questions when a TSA officer, PSS, passenger support specialist, contacts you. If you have medically necessary liquids, you will need to declare these for inspection. And TSA officers may need to conduct additional screening of these items. If you have external or internal medical devices, you will need to declare these for inspection. And TSA officers may need to conduct additional screening. If you arrive at the checkpoint and have any concerns before, during or after the screening process, you should immediately request to speak with a supervisory TSA officer. We are available. The TSA Disability Coalition is in order to better understand the needs and concerns of passengers with disabilities regarding policies and procedures. TSA established a coalition of groups and organizations representing passengers with disabilities and medical conditions. TSA engages regularly with the TSA Disability and Medical Condition Coalition. TSA hosts an annual conference with the coalition to share and exchange information because it is ever changing. We invite you to participate and engage with TSA. If you or your organization would like to participate, in TSA's Disability Coalition, please contact Susan Buckland at tsa.dhs.gov. We value you, your organization, and your engagement. Well, that concludes my presentation. Does any have any questions?
Do you suggest that we definitely print out the card that you talked about? Because I have not traveled with that before, so that was something new to me even.
Yes, I believe it is a new concept. I would suggest printing it out, and then you can write the concerns on the card, and then you would hand it to the person, not when they're checking your tickets, but actually the person that is starting your screening process. Because it does help us know prior to how to help make things smooth.
And you would suggest that in conjunction with calling before the 72 hours before? Okay.
Yes, just as an added extra measure.
Okay.
Yeah, and you would never have to show it because you could tell us and we would do the exact same thing.
Okay.
And because sometimes, bigger airports, you might be assigned someone different on the day of travel than you spoke to. Here, we're very lucky at Indy because we're very, close, very family oriented. And so you would normally talk to the person that is going to help through screening.
Okay. And I noticed the other day, since we are getting ready to travel soon, that you could go online now and fill out a form as opposed to calling. Do you suggest that? Or like my son is extremely complex, and so would you suggest that I still call just because of his complexities, or do you think the form is sufficient?
I would say still call because that
Okay.
is a brand new thing. And just until all kinks are, rolled out, I would suggest, and you could do both of them.
Okay.
But the most important is when an officer contacts you, that's when you want to explain all of the situation for your traveling.
Okay. And is there a time, I know you have to do it 72 hours beforehand, but is there like a good window? I mean, should you try to do it a month in advance, 2 weeks in advance? Is there a good time frame or?
The 72,
Okay.
4 or 5 days, yeah, because if you do it too quick, it might get lost in translation.
Got it.
Yep. So, and we have it to where you might have forgotten, and we have emergency also
Mhm.
notifications. Yeah, I've seen them as early as late as 24 hours in advance. Now, unfortunately, those don't get the same. They're kind of rushed,
Yeah.
and we don't like to be rushed for the sake of we want to make sure everything is smooth.
Yeah. I will say my experience has always been smooth. I mean, it doesn't matter which airport we were in. It it definitely has been. I mean, Indianapolis has been great. They've opened up lines like you talked about and took us through separately. I forgot to remove wipes one time. and I didn't think about it. I didn't think about wipes at all, and had just left them. So, and we go through with big bottles of liquid medication and have never had an issue whatsoever. So I can't say enough about, especially the Indianapolis International Airport. You guys have been phenomenal for us. So
Well, thank you. That means a lot to us. I know Stacy Sanders, who is our passenger support specialist liaison, she works very hard on trying to get everything assigned and to make sure that each airport takes care of the passengers. So we have a really great team
you definitely
across
do.
the country.
Yeah, no, we've I can't say enough about the program. I do have a question though. If we have families, I know for Indianapolis, we've participated ourselves in a program that um, the Autism Society of Indiana does there, where you can go through all of the security checkpoints and things like that, and get on the plane and kind of taxi around and then come back to the airport. Is that something, like, if you have someone that you think is going to have a lot of anxiety, or first time traveler, do you guys let them come in and maybe just see, not past security, but at least kind of like introduce that environment to younger children, or even older, I guess, that just have never flown?
I have been involved in several instances just like that you described. They, I would encourage the parent or guardian to ask for a supervisor. And what we do, we take them through, we have them hear the alarms so they know exactly what they're listening for. We take them through the whole process to just to the point of right after screening. Now, unfortunately, we can't give them, you can't go further past to see the planes and things like that, but at least to lessen the anxiety, we will take them through so they can hear the sounds, they can see the machines, they can understand what's going on, as well as the parent and the guardian, to make sure it's calm for them going through screening. So we absolutely do that.
Wonderful. And how would someone contact you for that?
You can actually contact Stacy Sanders right here with this the number. You can also contact TSA Cares. When you contact TSA Cares, and if you do it with 72 hours in advance, when the officer contacts you to see what they can do to help, you can also bring it up at that moment. Hey, we're going to come out tomorrow. Would it be okay if we can send you through? And then that person can help you walk through the whole process.
That's wonderful. I mean, I think that helps. I know as a parent, it is very helpful, because I felt the sense of like, I've got to rush through, like, I don't want to hold anybody up. I know all these travelers want to get places too. And I was able to really have all of that kind of squashed by all the officers that were there, that were like, no, it's fine. Like, take your time. We're here to help you. We're going to get you through it. Like, you're fine. And that really helped, I will say. That was the biggest thing, because you don't want to hold anybody up, and you feel like you have all this extra that you have to travel with, and it's a requirement for life. And here are all these people who are going to be like ready to go, and they're so streamlined compared to you and your family. But I've never felt that way when I've traveled, especially Indy. It's just let's just do it, everything's fine. I mean, I've even had them like, just sit down, I'll grab your bag. Which has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, especially when you're traveling with little ones and they have medical complexities, it definitely lessens that anxiety for you, and you can enjoy your vacation just as much as everybody else.
That, and that's one of the big concerns that we have. Are they able to take medications? And absolutely, whatever you need to, to continue. And I don't want to hold anybody up. So we are able, at every airport, we are able to make those decisions to where's the best way to get screened. So that's another reason to call TSA Cares, because we have that time to find what is best for all entities.
And I think you guys do an absolutely amazing job of that, I will tell you. I think my kids think that you guys are all just their friends and there to like just go along on the trip. Like, you're just a part of the vacation experience.
That makes me feel so happy, because that's why I love this program. I love being a part of it, because I meet so many wonderful families, and I do become friends with them because they're so appreciative and excited and energetic and nervous. And when you can give them that sense of relief, it just makes you shine. It makes my heart fill out my body, because it is. And then you get to see them go on their vacations and they're excited, and it's just a wonderful thing. I love being part of TSA.
Well, you guys clearly have a huge passion for what you do, and I appreciate it. And I know there's so many others who do as well. So this is great, having the opportunity to connect, and these are great resources for families. And even if you've traveled before and never used any of these resources, please consider it, because it will make your life so much easier. You will want to travel this way all the time. I don't know what we would have done without it, for sure. So, well, thank you, Christy, for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule. And hopefully I run into you at the airport sometime.
Yes, I hope so. Thank you for allowing me and letting me join your amazing expo. The honor is mine.
Thank you so much. And hopefully everybody is getting lots of information, and will pass on this great information about TSA Cares and all of their amazing programs.
Thank you.